11 Sports and For the Fans welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
Welcome everybody to Houston, Texas, here at Hyena Den Park Stadium as the Houston Hyenas get set to play host to the Portland Fleet. Good evening, everyone. I am Mike Daggs, and alongside me in the booth is the Hall of Fame quarterback of the Mexico City Aztecs, Matt Wilson. With us on stats tonight, Huey Lewis's #1 fan, Gerald Smith. Our producer is SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine. You are watching the Simulation Football League on For the Fans. Matt, how you doing tonight?
Mike, I'm ready for the power of love.
Well, that's great, Matt. An important game tonight for both teams here in the third quarter of the season. Houston came into the week third place of the South Division, and Portland in third place of the Pacific Division. With Vancouver and Los Angeles winning yesterday, Portland needs a win to stay 2 games out of first place. Mexico City got a win, but Fort Worth suffered a loss, meaning a win for Houston could potentially bump them up into second, only a game behind Mexico City. Both of these teams will be fighting hard tonight. What are the keys to victory for these two teams, Matt?
Well, Mike, Portland only lost by 6 last week and the week before to a very good Denver Nightwings team. Ezekiel Love was a major factor with over 150 yards and a touchdown. Houston, meanwhile, featured a dangerous passing game. Leroy Brown had 117 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Hyenas' victory over the Louisiana Revolution. Will it be Portland's ground assault or Houston's air attack, Mike? There's only one way to find out, and that's on the field.
All right, Matt, well, let's head down to the field to get this one started. Coin toss just wrapped up, so we will get things going here momentarily. The Portland Fleet visiting the Houston Hyenas. It's going to be a tough battle for both of these squads. First up will be Portland's offense, as Houston is going to kick this one away. Max Espresso has the ball teed up for the Hyenas. And we're underway here from Hyena Den Park Stadium. Kick taken back at the 10 and returned straight up the gullet to the 27-yard line. Benjamin Warner on the return, and quarterback Matt South in his second season coming out onto the field to lead this Fleet offense. He's joined by running back Ezekiel Love, who, Matt, you mentioned had a fantastic week last week. John Trusman is the fullback. Art Vandelay, Gene Valentine, and Benjamin Warner are the receivers. Nelson Lozano Jr. is the tight end. Shotgun snap taken. The ball's checked down to Love, and turning on the afterburners gets all the way up to the 32-yard line. A nice gain of 5 on the first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, Mike, the very long handoff on the first play. Might as well get it to your explosive back. Easy play for South. And now Portland can open up the playbook here. 2nd and 5.
Ezekiel Love only had 2 catches for 12 yards last week. 25 carries for 154 yards on the ground. But already has 2 catches in this one. That one's going to go for -3, though. We'll set up a 3rd down and 8. Talk about the key starters here on this Houston Hyena defense. The defensive line, Wolf Justice, Cabron Womack, Mike Baker, and Zach Turner. The linebackers, Alex Perez and Brody Gulch. The secondary, Marco Swift, Relger Law, Kai Cash, AJ Barnes, and Ethan Kai. 3rd down and 8. Trips to the left. South looks, fires deep down the middle, and overthrows his target. Looks like he had some pressure in his face, Matt.
Yeah, someone hit him in the legs, and when that happens, the ball will go short or go long. Luckily for South, it went long, and so fortunately, Portland has to punt.
Dominic Birkin on to punt for the Fleet. After a quick 3 and out. Houston's offense getting set and ready to take the field. Punt is away. Fair catch called for back at the 34-yard line. And that is where the offense will get things going, led by quarterback E.T. King. King in his first season with the Houston Hyenas, 9th in the league, coming over in free agency from Chicago. Flip backs in the backfield for snap number 1. Deep drop by King, out route to the right. That one is hauled in for a gain of 5. So both teams kind of start off the same way with a 5-yard gain, and Houston hoping for better luck on their possession than Portland had. This is the second meeting between these two teams. The Fleet won the first game that was in Portland. It was the first win in Portland franchise history. Pretty big meaning of a game for them last season. And they're hoping for another win tonight. King on second down, throwing deep over the middle. And he's got his man again, all the way down to the 29-yard line. That is D.R. Sim, the legendary receiver.
Yes, the doctor is in. That was a heck of a pass by King. A bit of a floater. I thought, might be in trouble, but hitting Sim in stride and setting Houston up very well.
312.6 pass yards per game this season. That's third in the league. Houston showing that they're really going to be a pass-heavy team so far this season, and it has been paying off as they're currently sitting at 4-3. That run by Warren Murray, only good for a gain of 1, sets up a second down and 9.
I'm seeing a lot of 4-3 defense out of the Fleet so far. I don't know. It could work out if Houston decides to run the ball a little more this game.
Well, we'll see another run right there as that'll set up a third down and 5. The starters for the Houston Hyena offense. Quarterback E.T. King, the running back Warren Murray, the wide receivers Kyle Finnemore, Leroy Brown. We saw D.R. Sim and Greg Corky. Tight ends Randy Pierce and Stephen Walker. And keep an eye on number 76, the guard James Richards, as he tries to keep King on his feet and open up some holes for Warren Murray. There's one there as Murray spins up past the 15-yard line, moving the chains for another first down.
They had me bamboozled. I thought it was a pass for sure. You get a pass-heavy team on a 3rd and medium. I think it's going to be pass majority of the time, but look at that. Pulling guard. Tackle at 77, and nice spin by Murray to get a couple extra yards. And if Houston's running game's going, that doesn't spell well for the Fleet defense.
First down and 10 now. King in the gun. Checks it down behind the line of scrimmage and getting only back to the line before being leveled by Mel Davis. Sets up a second down and 10. Nowhere to go for Murray on that play.
Yeah, nickel defense against a check down. Luckily, the linebackers are able to close and see if Houston goes back to its roots into the air, if they stay with Murray on the ground.
Coming out in a running look here on second down and 10, but they will throw, swinging it out to Murray again. This time tackled for a loss behind the line of scrimmage. Coming up to make the play, it looked like that was Chris Stash, the corner.
Now the Fleet's passing defense has to buckle down here. Let's see what they come out with in this formation. And boy, they're awfully up on the line, Mike. Trying to bump them off their route, but if someone gets free for Houston, it could be see you later.
King finding his target down at the bottom. And that one is good for a gain of about 7, but it'll still set up a 4th down and 6 in the field goal unit coming out onto the field. Josh Fed, the receiver.
Yeah, Portland's defense did a good job of just keeping Houston in front of them, settling for, field goal's fine. It was a long drive, but 3 is good, and Portland will get the ball back and see if they can get their offense moving on their second drive of the game.
A 27-yard field goal try from the left hash to get the first points of the game up and on the board. Good snap, kick is up, and it is through. Houston getting the first points of the ball game. You are new to the SFL. The Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the Simulation Football League, you can visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy, and that kick was put all the way back to the 10-yard line. And another decent return of 18 sets up the Portland offense at the 28-yard line. And Matt South coming back out onto the field. 2 of 3 on his opening drive. Not able to get a first down, though.
Yeah, that screen pass on second down really hurt them last drive. They got to keep having positive plays, even if it's for a gain of 1, not a loss of 3.
4 wide on the field now for Portland. Out route up to the top. Tipped in and out of the hands of his intended target. That one going to Gavin Bovett, one of the backup receivers, and second down and 10 coming up.
That's the danger, Mike. Backups are in. There's a reason they ride the pine, and every once in a while they'll make a nice play for you, but you'd rather throw it to even your fullback at that point than a backup receiver.
2 wide receivers now on second down and 10. South. Out route down to the bottom. That one's caught. Art Vandelay with the catch. Getting up to the 47-yard line, moving the chains for Portland's first down of the ballgame.
Vandelay there, moving around the sidelines, finds an open hole in the zone. Beautiful pass. 2 hyenas in the area, but South led him perfectly. Yeah, if that's a little shorter, Mike, it's a little stickier situation for the receiver.
Yeah, agreed. That was an excellent pass by South, completing only 62% of his passes so far this season, so it's good to see that completion there. Offset I formation setting up a running situation for Love. Love only able to gain 3 on the play.
Looked like decent blocking. Love needed to bounce that more to the outside, try to stretch the defense a little more east-west, because he has the speed advantage over probably most of the Houston defenders, especially the linebackers. Here's where we saw that screen before. See if they try it and if it works for him.
It's going to be a handoff instead. Love powering forward, and he gets the first down.
Yeah, if that was their first drive, boy, they'd be in good shape. But still, that's what they got to use Love for. He showed himself last week to be a very valuable, very dynamic running back. And again, gains like that, they're not huge, but they move the sticks, get you first downs, and avoids the turnover situation. So big plus plays on first down are going to be a huge part of this Fleet offense.
Love takes another handoff off tackle to the right. This time only able to get 3. Last week, Matt, 25 carries, 154 yards.
Yeah.
That was a career high for him, averaging 6.2 yards per carry and also getting a touchdown. Anytime your running back can average over 6 yards per touch, that's always going to be beneficial to your team.
And they got John Trusman there to help with the blocking responsibilities. And against this 4-2 nickel, I'd be running all day long.
And we're going to see another run. Oh, nice block set out in front of them. It's going to gain them 5. 3rd down and 2 as Portland's looking to keep this drive going. Sets up a 3rd and manageable.
Ooh, Houston got lucky there. If Love had gotten free, it might have been see you later, 6 points. But 3rd and 2 is not an easy down, Mike. Love's run the ball twice, so how much gas does he have in the tank? It looks like a running formation, but we'll see what they do with it.
And they do indeed run.
Oh, no.
Unblocked linebacker gets him in the backfield, and that will put an end to the drive. Brody Gulch with the tackle for a loss.
The only reason I didn't like it, Mike, is you know how much I hate off-tackle plays, and
you do.
You got 1 or 2 yards to gain. Just get that 3 back set back there. Just try to lower your head and get the 2 instead of being all tricky. And now punter hopefully Portland can pin Houston deep.
Yeah, they're not going to trot David John out there, their kicker. Instead, trying to pin Houston deep, taking it from the 11-yard line, getting up to the 14. David John, Matt, he's 14 of 14 this season, so kind of surprised that maybe they wouldn't want to go for a long field goal there. I mean, they were at the 36,
Did you see the wind?
About a 53. No.
That punt hung for a long time. I think
good point. Yeah.
The wind's going the other way, so I think if it had been the other side of the field, if it had flipped, they might have tried it, but they're trying to be safe and play the field position game with this wind. I don't blame them.
King, pressure coming and tipped and nearly picked off and falls harmlessly to the turf. The defense, man, they got into the backfield real quick and then swarming around that ball. Let's introduce the starting lineup of the Portland Fleet defense. Robert Brower, Derwin Nuevo, Bernard Patterson, and Gary Burney are the defensive linemen. Linebackers Mel Davis, Gary Clem, and Khalil Thomas. The cornerbacks Chris Stash, Derek Majors, and Leo Morris. The safeties Bob Funk and Shad Allen. King out route down to the bottom, hitting DR Sim, and look at Sim using the power to get that first down.
That's why he's been a great player for so long. Mike catches the ball. Looks like it's going to be a 7-yard gain. Breaks a tackle, gets the first, and gets Houston out of danger. Now they're at the 25. And the key for Portland is to get pressure on King. If they don't, he's going to pick them apart. And if Murray gets involved like he has been earlier, forget about it.
Split backs in the back.
Oh,
King
geez.
Pressure coming, and he fumbles the ball. Who's going to jump on top of it? It looks like
Houston.
Did Houston got the ball back? Yeah, second down to 17. And, wow, that could have been disastrous for the Hyenas.
Boy, Portland brought an all-out blitz. They sent all the linebackers, all the D linemen, and playing a little game of Russian roulette with King. If he gets any time at all, it's a touchdown. But worked that time. We'll have to see if it pays off going forward. 2nd and 17, I would not blitz again, but oh, man.
Everybody on the line except for that one
press
safety
the heck
back
out
there.
of Houston.
King going quick pass over the middle and has most of those yards back. Went from a 2nd and 17 to set up a 3rd down and manageable 2. A quick pass to Kyle Finnemore.
They pressed a little bit, but boy, that's the problem when you don't play zone, Mike. Your lower corners get burned, and boy, did he get burned on that one. Now I think it's going to come down to the legs of Warren Murray, and chances are more often than not he could get this 2 yards.
Murray does indeed get the handoff. He gets the 2 yards. About 3 more as he spins his way up to the 38-yard line and moves the chains.
I would have loved to have seen more of a zone look on that 2nd down, Mike. It's 17. Keep the offense in front of you. When you go to that man look here, you could get torched for big yards. And although it wasn't a 1st down, it helped set up that run for Murray for a 1st, and this drive for Houston will continue.
2 tight ends on the left side of the line as King makes a change to the play. King will throw, fires over the middle. That one picked off and taken away. Coming back the other way is Bob Funk with the interception. Already has 2 tackles on the game and now a pick.
Mike, I thought it was the larger version of Jeffrey out there at number 44, playing safety, picking the ball off. Funk does a good job reading the quarterback's eyes. Again, that's when you're sitting in that zone, Mike. You're not having to play that man and go one-on-one against these dangerous Houston receivers. And now Portland's got to see if they can get some points off turnovers here. We've seen this look before. Was productive. See if it is again.
Bob Funk's 7th interception on the season. Tied for 2nd place now. And Matt now gets sacked all the way back at the 47-yard line. A big loss of 8. Getting into the backfield, Mike Baker with the sack. His 3rd on the season.
South went south, all right. That's not the direction Portland wants to go. Now they're going to be forced to throw against this dangerous secondary who had 4 picks last week.
4 wide receivers on what could be the final play of the 1st quarter. South firing over the middle, and that one is incomplete, but a flag on the play. Clock stopped with 9 seconds to go, and are they going to call Brody Gulch for pass interference, Matt?
That'd be a big get. Automatic 1st down.
And it looks like they're going to call pass interference. Not on Brody Gulch. I'm not sure why the cameraman was picking on Mr. Gulch there, but
big break for Portland. New set of downs.
Terry Nellum's one of the backup safeties called for the pass interference call. And yeah, Matt, instead of having what would have been a third down and long, first down and 10 from the 41. And running up the middle, Ezekiel Love able to gain 3, and that will bring us to the end of the first quarter. So a low-scoring game so far, but many more points to come in this one. We'll see what happens as Portland keeps going with their drive to start the second quarter. You're watching the Simulation Football League on For the Fans. We'll be back after this.
Ezekiel Love had his best game of the season last week against the Denver Night Wings. Take a look at this long run, Mike. It's about to happen, and off to the races he goes. Look at the blocking, the vision. Turning on. There's those afterburners, Mike. All the way to the house. 80 yards. He finished the game with 154 yards rushing on 25 carries. They're going to need a similar performance from him tonight to have a chance at beating Houston.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. 611 yards now on the season coming into tonight's game. But correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but was that an off-tackle run to the left? Look at that, it was.
Yeah,
well, how did that work? You don't like the off-tackle runs?
Not on 3rd and 2, Mike. Maybe on 2nd and 4.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can see more Ezekiel Love action here in quarter number 2. Not on this play, though. 2nd down and 7. 5 wide receivers on the field. Matt South, deep drop, fires into coverage, and somehow that one's caught. My goodness. What an impressive catch. Hauled in by Benjamin Warner. 1st down and 10 from the Houston 29.
I don't know if I'd want to do that too much more if I'm Matt South. He's asking to get picked off.
Yeah, that was a dangerous play. He's been good about not getting picked off this season. He has thrown 13 picks, but that's actually 6th best in the league. Look at Ezekiel Love go, powering forward up to the 19-yard line. 2nd down and inches.
I'm telling you, Mike, Portland might have found a new weapon in Love. What? Look at the fullback take out the block right there, and Love just powering as much as he can, and that's what you want to get set up. 2nd and inches. You know what I like to do, Mike? Run the ball again.
Up the middle, though, not off tackle.
Not off tackle. 2nd and inches, let's get your 1st down. And, look at the lines. They're almost identical.
South under center. He does hand the ball off to Love, but Zach Turner's got something to say about that as he wraps him up and brings him down for a loss of 2. It'll be a 3rd down and 2 now from the 20.
Yeah, great penetration by Turner, stopping Love in his tracks. Good old DR Sim, the wily vet's got some rabbits out of his hat.
And another handoff. Oh, it's off tackle, Matt. Didn't work, just like you said.
Nope.
Brody Gulch in the backfield. Another tackle for a loss for Gulch on the ball game, and that'll be a 4th down and 2 now. Now we will get to see the Portland Fleet kicker, David John, come out onto the field for a field goal attempt to try to get this one tied up.
That's tough for Portland. They had a great drive going. Just couldn't get, I would have tried another up the middle run with Lover. Maybe a screen. I don't know. But at least they didn't turn the ball over and they get a chance to square up the game.
37-yard field goal try is up, and it is good. Portland is able to tie this one back up. David John, good from 37. Matt, last week he had 1 field goal attempt from 43 yards out, was able to knock that one through. Now 15 of 15 on the season, has not yet missed in his 2nd season with the team. Actually had 15 field goals in his 1st season, so he's already tied that up, and here we are in week 8.
Let's see how far the ball goes in this kickoff. That'll tell me something about the wind situation here.
Well, it's not too windy inside the dome, but every once in a while the industrial fans might blow the blow the ball.
Wait, we're in a dome?
Heavy.
Oh, I thought it was
well, look up,
man.
man. You gotta look up.
I'm looking. My head doesn't move, Mike.
I know your head doesn't tip back.
You got to help a brother out here. If I can't look up. I think we're outside. We're inside, man.
Day looks like night. Night looks like day. Cats and dogs living together. Chaos, mass hysteria. 1st down and 10 now for Houston from the 21-yard line. As the wheels fall off the broadcasting wagon. King under center. Short drop and a quick pass over. Trying to hit Leroy Brown, but well defended by Khalil Thomas. 2nd out.
Yeah, Thomas in good position. Zone defenses worked pretty well for the Fleet so far. That's when they got burned when they went to that press man on that wide receiver look. But big guy, not quite sure what to do with the ball. They're just going to swats it down. It's all right. He'll get there. He's a youngin'.
That will register as Thomas's 1st pass deflection of the season.
Oh, congratulations.
Has 3 tackles for a loss, 28 tackles on the season for Thomas. And now with 1 pass deflection added on to his stats. And 2nd down and 10 is King. Swings this one out to Warren Murray. Murray with good yardage up the sideline. Able to gain 6 and set up a 3rd down and 4 as we see a quarterback comparison and not really huge stats on either side quite yet.
No, but you see the speed of Murray there, Mike. Again, another one of those guys. If he gets good blocking, it's going to be a long night for the Fleet.
King now in the gun. Goes down to the bottom, hits his target, and moves the chains. Pass is complete out to Kyle Finnemore. 1st down and 10 from the 36.
Shot by Finnemore. Again, no pressure on King. Plenty of time. Foul in the open receiver. 1st down. Drive continues.
UT King now 9 of 12, 83 yards. Leading receivers, DR Sim. I'm sure we'll see more out of Sim later on. Deep pass over the middle. And that one is incomplete, well defended. Trying to hit Leroy Brown. Brown's been targeted a couple times so far, Matt, but has not yet been able to haul one in. Actually, he did have 1 5-yard reception earlier on in the game.
Wow.
So far, that's it on 3 targets.
That was a good look. He was open, Mike. Had to lead Brown a little bit more, although good job by the safety. We've already seen him before, number 44, Bob Funk. To get in the way. And now it's a little 2nd and 10. What if we're going to see some Murray here?
2 backs in the backfield. Murray is indeed one of them, but we will see a pass out to the tight end.
Whoa.
Stephen Walker, the tight end, who was lined up next to Warren Murray. That's good for a first down.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
That's the way to get your tight end involved, I guess. Just out in the flat, no one nearby, and making the most of it for sure.
Stephen Walker, the rookie third-round pick of the Houston Hyenas. Real tight ends wear 83, so love to see that, Mr. Walker, getting the reception and getting the
I
first
can hear
down.
Mike and Ramos' ear now. Hey, that play looked pretty good. Why don't we run it next?
I like that play. I need to see that in Mexico City's playbook. Quite frankly, I don't understand why it's not. Warren Murray taking the handoff and running up the gut. Gain of 5 will set up a second down and 5 now for the Hyenas.
Good stuff for Houston. We have 5 yards for Murray. Again, that 2nd and 5 is perfect. They can run him again or do something else. Throw it to the tight end, baby.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Offset I know. For Houston, King will throw, looking deep down the middle, and that one is well defended. Mel Davis, the inside linebacker, dropping back and getting a pass deflection now, Matt.
That's an athletic play by Mel Davis to get in the way of that ball. Otherwise, that would have been the Houston receiver might have been still running. And here's a big 3rd and 5. Houston outside of field goal range. And first down. If they don't get the first down, I don't think they will be in field goal range. So this could be their drive right here.
Mel Davis actually has more pass deflections all time than anybody else on this Portland defense. Short drop by King, and then right on cue, Matt. Mel Davis again, swatting another one down.
They got a fly swatter in there I don't know about.
It's his big old mitt that he's got attached to his
chopped off his arm and attached a fly swatter. It'd be pretty cool.
It's a football swatter. Knock that right down. 4th down and 5. The Hyenas drive coming to a halt in Portland territory. Not close enough for a field goal. They'll need to punt this one back to Portland, looking to pin them deep. Now down near their own goal line.
Ooh. This is not a good idea.
Down at the 10, coming to a stop right at the goal. Oh, no, it rolled over the line. Oh, it's going to be a touchback. I thought that was a beautiful special teams play, but by about an inch, the football was over the line.
That's when you get greedy, Mike. You want, I want it at the half-yard line, not the 1. Well, you waited a little too long, sir, and now Fleet catch a break and get it at the 20 instead of the inch line.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be 1st and 10 from their goal line, and wow, yeah, definitely caught a break there. 4 wide receivers on the field now for Portland to get this drive started. South swings this one out to Love, and that's not going to go anywhere. They'll spot him a yard. I'm not sure why.
Very generous.
Spotted them a yard, but yeah, gave him a yard there. 2nd down and 9.
You never know in the SFL. First downs look like sure first downs are 3rd and inches, and no gains. They somehow find a way to give him a yard. So beats me.
Quick pass by South. That one is complete. Hauled in up at the 33-yard line. Art Vandelay getting another reception. And moving the chains, 6.5 minutes to go here in the first half of action.
Very fast-moving half. And, boy, South got hit again, but he did a good job of delivering it to Vandelay. And he's going to be under siege probably. I mean, listen, you got 4 highly paid defensive players on Houston on the front 4. So don't take too much time. If you see an open man, even if it's a check down, make a quick decision to get rid of the ball.
2 wide receivers to the right. South throwing it behind the line of scrimmage, and the tackle missed an opportunity to make a block there. Number 71, he was kind of heading downfield a little too far.
Bono school of blocking, Mike. Got to go to the 3rd level.
He was going to he was going somewhere, Matt. He skipped past the first defender and went straight to defender number 2. So off tackle run now. Good move. Getting up to the 43-yard line will set up a 3rd down and 1 for Love.
I thought I was seeing an instant replay of the replay I just showed. Love was off to the races. There's your chance. Good time to run your off tackle right now. Now it's 3rd and 1. Now you just get the trip set. Get your heavy set in there and give Love the ball and give him a chance to get this first down.
Love on the delayed
I
handoff,
hate
and
that.
that's not going to work. I knew you were going to say something about it, Matt. Wolf Justice getting there in the backfield for the big tackle for a loss, putting an end to this drive. And what's wrong with the delay, Matt?
It's a pull, and it's just it takes too much time to develop, Mike. Just give him the ball on a trap or just a straight dive. But that was just no.
Took too long, gave the Houston defensive line plenty of time to get into the backfield. Wolf Justice, no tackles for a loss last week. He got one right there, 5 on the season. That punt is down at the 23-yard line, and that's where Houston will now take over. You can keep up with the SFL and its teams on social media at Simulationfl. You can follow us on Twitter for weekly broadcast schedules to discover team content and stay up to date on SFL news. Let us know who your favorite team is or how you enjoy the broadcasts each week with the hashtag #MakeAnImpact. Thanks for your support and your viewership. First down and 10 from the 23. King, delayed handoff to Warren Murray, a little bit more successful than the delayed handoff we saw in the last offensive snap. Second down and 8 now after a gain of 2.
That's a different situation. It's first down, so nothing's really a bad play on first down unless it's a turnover or a loss of. But you know what I mean. You can run that on first down, but on 3rd and 1, not my cup of tea.
High snap hauled in by King, getting it out down to the bottom. That one is caught. Hauled in by Leroy Brown, getting his second catch of the ball game. 3rd down and 3.
Hasn't quite had the day he had last week yet, but every time one of us says something like that, they just go off. So see what happens if I don't think he'll be quiet for the entire game.
Ball is handed off to Murray, and he easily converts that. 3rd down and 3, going straight forward for 5 yards up to the 35-yard line.
And Murray, again, just gave him the ball quickly up the middle, gets the first down. These little plays, can make or break a team throughout a game, Mike, and getting that first down there could be a big one for Houston.
Offset I formation here on 1st down and 10. Murray hitting the backfield, wrapped up and brought down. Nowhere to go on that one.
No, and you also have 4 highly paid defensive tackles and ends on the fleet, so they're likely to get in the backfield here and disrupt Murray. So that's why they're James Richards there, their guard, has to be on heavy duty here. Oh boy.
Derwin DeWavo with back-to-back tackles for a loss. Got right through the line, Matt, on 2 plays in a row. Losing a yard on each play, going from 1st and 10 now to 3rd and 12.
So we've seen this before. It's going to be interesting to see if Houston comes out in the gun, what Portland counters with. It looks like a zone defense to me, but we'll see. Despite...
On 3rd and 12, they're able to get the first down up to the 46-yard line. A big jumping catch.
Greg
Hauled
Corky.
in by Greg Corky, Matt.
The vet. He's back. And he's still making great plays. What a great jumping catch there. And Houston moves the chains again. And look at the time. Houston can pretty much run all the time and get some points off this drive.
Greg Corky, no catches last week. That was only his 3rd catch on the season. But a great one to see there, moving the chains on a big play. And speaking of big plays, Warren Murray inside the 30, inside the 20, powering forward all the way to the 14-yard line. And that's how the first half is going to bring us to the 2-minute warning. Wow, setting up the Houston Hyenas with a 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. We'll see what happens on the other side of this break. You are watching the Simulation Football League on For the Fans. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Houston, Texas, where Houston is on a drive, looking to score some points here before the half. First down and 10 from the 14 after a huge play by Warren Murray. Murray's going to get the ball again, running this one up the gut, and that'll give us an opportunity to send it back to SFL Studios for a game break. Cam, what do you got?
Thanks, Mike. Mr. St. Green, are we playing baseball here in the second block of action today?
Well, yeah, it's definitely low scoring in this second block, but hey, Cam Crosby right here with a big sack of Ace Finnick in the end zone gets Sioux Falls on the board 2-0 in the first inning.
Back to Mike and Matt. And you.
Thank you, Cam. Warren Murray stuffed right at the line of scrimmage on that play. 3rd down and 5 now. Couple of low-scoring games going on. 3-3 in this one. 2-0 in Sioux Falls, playing host to the Lone Star Glory. 3rd down and 5 now. And a free play for Houston, throwing towards the end zone. Oh, and it's incomplete. Trying to hit Leroy Brown. But, Matt, it would be 4th down and 5 with that incompletion. Is this going to be enough yards for a first down?
That's what I'm wondering. Is it going to be 3rd and inches or first down?
Oh, it'd be 4th and inches or a first down. So huge play on the spot of this ball here. We'll see what it is. Trying to see who's out on the field, and yeah, it is. Oh, third. Oh, yeah. You were right, Matt. 3rd and inches after the penalty, like the down never happened. So King under center, split backs in the backfield, and they will throw. Oh, wide open to the left. He dropped it. Oh no, Stephen Walker had his hands on the ball and it just fell down to the turf.
Wow.
And now it's 4th and inches. Wide open. He could have caught it, turned it upfield into the end zone for the touchdown. And a costly mistake by the rookie.
Well, wait a minute, Mike. Maybe they can drop him off, get him off sides again.
They just did it a second ago. So what will they do here? King, I'd be tempted just to snap it and hand it to Murray. He is averaging over 3 yards per carry on the season. He can get inches, but it looks like they're just going to burn the timeout. It was worth a shot.
Yeah, you're not going to. That's a smart play. You don't need those timeouts. You're not likely to get the ball back, so why not try to draw him off sides? And
yeah,
the old vet Damon looking a little gray there. He's been around for a while.
4th down and inches now, and the kicker will come out onto the field for Houston. Max Espresso.
I prefer cappuccinos, but
or a macchiato, a nice caramel macchiato. Delicious. 21-yard field goal try from the right hash to regain the lead. It's up and good, and Houston adding 3 onto the board. 50 seconds before halftime, they will get the ball back to start the second half as well. So we'll see if Portland's able to get some more points on the board now before the half.
Portland needs to be careful, too. They don't want to turn the ball over 6-3. At Houston is not the worst score to be down by, so you don't want to throw an interception, and then Houston gets prime field position with 2 timeouts left to try to score again. But I'm not sure how I'd play this.
Kick return taken up to the 29-yard line. That's where they will get things started. Coming up on the SFL halftime report, Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green will analyze the first half and provide updates on the Lone Star Sioux Falls game and look ahead to a stacked Week 9 slate. It's all coming up on the SFL halftime report in 47 gameplay seconds from now. But first, Portland's drive, Matt South in the gun. Gets that one out to Ezekiel Love, and that one's going to go for a loss. We've seen that quite a few times so far in this one, Matt, and they look content to let the clock continue to roll.
Yeah, just negative plays, and that's the difference sometimes between 2 wins and 4 wins. You're going backwards if you get a completion for, 7 or 8, then you might go no huddle and try to go down the field, but see if Portland decides to do it anyways.
Getting it out to Love again, and Love's able to get some yards this time. Hurrying back to the line, but the clock rolls with 6 seconds to go here.
Better hurt. Oh, my God. Wow, that's poor time management.
Call a timeout with 3 seconds to go.
I think Love was winded, and they should have just taken the timeout immediately, but they didn't realize where Love was in the field, and that's unfortunate. And now with 3 seconds to go, I think you just got to run the ball and take it. And there's a little discussion about time management there with your quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. I know you've had some of those talks on the sideline with Ramos in the past, even being an experienced veteran yourself. But
I don't understand him. He speaks Spanish.
He's just
nod my head and say, whatever you say, sir.
Yes, sir, Ramos Lynn. 3rd down and 6, and South is in the gun, Matt. Firing over the left-hand side. That one's caught, but this time will expire as the clock hits 0. First half of action in the books. Houston in the lead, 6-3 over the Portland Fleet. Houston will get the ball back to start the second half. We will be back with the SFL halftime report with Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green after the break. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the SFL Halftime Report. I'll show up eventually. With Mike St. Green, I'm Cameron Irvine, and we've got a couple of low-scoring ball games, 6-3. Houston leads at the half. My observation, Mike, was that Houston won 3rd down in that first half, and that's why they're up 3. But what did you see?
Yeah, you can make that observation, Cam, that Houston did win a few of the 3rd downs, but Portland did make plays on defense to keep Houston out of the end zone. Yeah, Mel Davis had a couple of big knockdowns in that first half. Bob Funk had a big interception. Derwin Nuevo had a strip sack for a fumble, but Houston did happen to recover that ball. But Portland's defense really keeping them in the game right now. as far as, with the turnovers and the sacks and things like that. Houston, Warren Murray did have 75 yards rushing, but other than that, the offense kind of struggled.
We have 9 points in the Houston and Portland game. We have 9 points in the Lone Star Sioux Falls game, 7-2. Although Lone Star's doing a nice job of beating Sioux Falls over the top here recently, trying to get a big win on the road to get back to 500.
Yeah, Sioux Falls looked like early on that they were getting Colin Hart involved, and their initial drive stalled out. They had to punt, and Cam Frosby got a big sack for a safety. But from that point on, it's pretty much been all Lone Star at this point.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Sioux Falls can repeat what they did last week, 13-0 down with less than 3 minutes to go, and they end up beating London 14-13. Well, Week 9 is coming up next weekend, and we've got a really interesting slate of games, Mike, because we've got a lot of divisional matchups, and we have a lot of rematches. So just going through it real quick, Saturday, DC London, that's divisional game in the north. Mexico City Lone Star, divisional game in the south. Baltimore Queen City, divisional game in the north. Arizona Las Vegas, divisional game in the west. And a couple others sprinkled in there too. Those 4 teams, Denver, Atlanta, Jacksonville, LA, are all above 500 playing non-divisional contests. So what stands out to you about the Saturday slate, Mike?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go out of the division, and not just because I play for Jacksonville, but that Jacksonville-LA game, both teams at 5-3 right now, coming in the next week, that's going to be a huge, huge matchup. Both teams trying to keep pace, as far as their division leads. Los Angeles has struggled on offense, even though they did happen to pull out a victory yesterday against Atlanta. That's going to be a huge matchup, and to see how these teams can make their stake for a division championship.
I look at Mexico City Lone Star from the standpoint of, depending upon what happens with Houston today, if Lone Star, whether they win or lose, right, with Fort Worth fading a little bit, if Mexico City gets a win on the road, man, they could really kind of separate themselves in this division that looked really crowded just a few weeks ago. And that could be a big kind of season-defining win for Mexico City, right? They turn in from maybe a top 3 or a top 5 team to now a legit championship contender team with a win right there to go to 7-2.
Yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, Cam, Mexico City right now, to me, are not the team that, anyone should be anxious and looking forward to playing, unless they just want to, find a measuring stick for themselves to see how good they are, because Mexico City have been excellent the past 3 or 4 weeks of the season. A balanced offensive attack. The defense has been turning the ball over. Dan Trich, the rookie defensive lineman, has been a monster on the defensive line, leading the league in sacks. Not the team that you would want to play. And Mexico City definitely can separate themselves from that South Division pack next week.
Ace Fennick to Adam Williams gets Lone Star up 14-2 on Sioux Falls. So the Glory having a nice afternoon so far. Okay, how about the Sunday slate? Houston-Fort Worth, divisional game in the south. Tulsa-St. Louis, divisional game in the east. Vancouver goes to Florida. San Diego goes to Charleston. So a couple of West Coast teams traveling east. Portland goes to Carolina. Another West Coast team traveling east. And then Sioux Falls goes down to Louisiana. Sunday slate, what are you looking out for next week?
Oh, the biggest game that stands out is Tulsa at St. Louis by far. Tulsa with a huge win today to get themselves one game out of the division lead behind St. Louis. St. Louis struggled mightily the past 3 weeks. The offenses have been, average at best. The defense is still, held up the end of the bargain, but St. Louis have struggled offensively. But that's going to be a huge game. Tulsa has clawed their way all the way back. St. Louis faltering. It's going to be a big game to see who will take over that Eastern Division.
A headliner next week, 6-2 Florida hosts 5-3 Vancouver. Those two have a history. I believe Vancouver was the only team to win when they were in Alaska at the eye in the playoffs. Vancouver looked great this past week. Florida looked really nice, really good today. Yesterday. I mean, for Vancouver, they defeated Charleston 31-16. So you got two pretty hot teams coming into the eye there, And I can't wait to see that matchup. Both teams either tied or leading their divisions right now.
Yeah, one thing we know we're going to get in this matchup is explosive offense. Ron Cochran had a 350-yard day today. Tom Pepper typically is going to be in the 300 or even 400-yard range for himself, for as passing goes. And this week, Robert Redford had a big game on the ground as well for Vancouver, 181 yards rushing. So, hey, look for an explosive game, a big game for both of those teams. Florida wanting to stay up in the division in Atlantic, and definitely Vancouver want to stay up in the Pacific out there.
That's a look at Week 9, FTF Sundays, Next Level Sports Saturdays, as we've had all season long on coverage of the Simulation Football League. Well, Lone Star's up 14-2 at the half. Houston's up on Portland 6-3 at the half in a deadlock. We'll be back to Houston after these messages. This has been the SFL Halftime Report.
And welcome back to Houston, Texas, Hyena Den Park Stadium. I am Mike Daggs, joined in the booth by the Hall of Famer Matt Wilson. Gerald Smith with us on stats. Cameron Irvine producing the game for us this evening. Houston getting the ball back to get the second half started, taking it out from the goal line and getting it all the way up to the 24-yard line. And that is where they will get their drive started. Their first drive of the ball game was a 9-play, 48-yard drive that resulted in a field goal through a pick on their next possession. They had to punt it away on their third drive, and then drive number 4, 12 plays, 72 yards, resulting in yet another field goal. E.T. King, 13 of 21, 124 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick in the first half. Warren Murray, 75 yards on the ground, 12 rushing attempts. Here's run number 13, and it's a good one as he fights forward for a gain of 9.
Yeah, when your back's averaging 6 yards a carry. 6.5. You should give him the ball a little more often, I would say.
Absolutely. 2nd down and 1 now. Coming out in a running formation. 5 on the line for the Fleet. And he's not able to gain any more. Be a 3rd down and 1. Great tackle made by Bernard Patterson.
Yeah, Murray came out the other side across the line, but his knee must have hit before he crossed. And now, round 2.
Murray jumping over the tackler and then fumbling the football, recovered by the Fleet.
Well, the Fleet missed a fumble earlier, Mike, but they got this one. It wasn't by Murray. And Murray, he was juking and he got popped right where the ball is, came out, and Portland on the spot. So that first half, it's pretty much like Portland had the ball coming out of halftime, and now they're almost in field goal range. And in a 3-6 game, every point is a big point.
Offset I formation for the Portland Fleet to get their first drive started. Ezekiel Love tackled right at the line. No gain on the play. They went 3 and out on their first possession, had to punt on their second possession, finally made a field goal on drive number 3, 8 plays, 17 yards. Possessions number 4 and 5 were both punts and then just ran out of time. And here we are on the first drive for Portland after recovering a fumble in Houston territory.
Oh, no.
Ezekiel Love wrapped right up after a gain of only 1. Send it back to SFL Studios for another game break from Sioux Falls. Cam, what do you got?
Thanks, Mike. Sioux Falls gets it back and gets a touchdown.
Yeah, Cam, following the Terrell Davis interception, Colin Hart with a run-off tackle here at 6 yards for the touchdown, getting Sioux Falls back in it.
Sparrows threw a pick, then got it right back on the next play, down 14-9 now. Back to Portland, where it appears the field goal fest will continue.
Thank you, Cam. 4th down and 5 now after that pass. Only went for 4 yards. And, from the 30-yard line, they'll get David John out there for a long field goal try. This one will be from about 47 yards from the left hash. Made a 43-yarder last week, made one earlier. Low snap, and the Houston defender just stopped in his tracks. The kick is up and good.
Wow. Thought that was going to get blocked for sure, Mike. And Portland very lucky to come away from it at any points at all. They barely scraped into field goal range after that fumble by Murray. And they squared it up, though. It's 0-0.
6-6 ball game here in Houston. Houston will get the ball back after a Warren Murray fumble on their last possession. This one returned up to the 23-yard line. It was only the second fumble on the season for Warren Murray. And fortunately for the Hyenas, it only cost them 3 points. 15 carries, 87 yards, averaging 5.8 yards per carry. 2 tight ends to the right side of the line. 2 receivers on the field for Houston. King will hand the ball off to Murray, running straight up the middle. And they're only going to spot him 1 on that play, Matt.
Yeah, I don't mean to be scoreboard watching, Mike, but all in the Houston's division. Now Sioux Falls has the lead over the Lone Star Glory, just like that.
Yeah, 14-2. It seemed like just moments ago. And, Sioux Falls has that ability to score quick. You heard Cam talk about what Sioux Falls did last week, getting 14 points in the final 3 minutes of the London game to get the win. Houston getting that one out to the right. Nice gain of 6.
Throwing it to the big fullback there.
Sioux Falls taking the lead, Matt, on an Alex Parker pick 6. So great job by the Sioux Falls defense, and Great job by the two defenses in this ball game, Matt. 6-6 here, approaching the midway point of quarter number 3. High formation for the Hyenas, and Murray's able to get the first down.
Wow.
Forward to the 34-yard line. Great block by the fullback, setting that one up.
Yeah, I thought he was stopped in his tracks, but Murray just pops out the other side, gets Houston a first down, and back in business on this drive. They don't want to fumble the ball and then go 3 and out their first 2 drives out of the half.
Trips to the bottom of the set. King throwing that way, and that one is caught in traffic. Hauled in by Leroy Brown, getting enough for a first down up to the 44.
We saw South throw a dangerous pass. Mike, that one was just as dangerous. I'm surprised no hands got in there from Portland, but another first down. Houston stringing some together, and the Fleet defense is on its heels a bit.
2 backs in the backfield for the Hyenas on this first down and 10 from their own 44, handing the ball off to Murray. Murray spinning himself forward for a gain of 5.
There's the give him a 2nd and 5. We've seen that quite a bit tonight, that number, 2nd and 5. It's been fairly successful for some, but see what Houston, if they just want to run Murray again. I mean, somebody's 2nd fumble of the year, I would trust.
King swinging it out to Murray. Oh, the blocker couldn't get there. Pulling guard, just a little too slow. 3rd down and 7 after a loss of 2 on the play.
That's called being enveloped.
Yes.
You can't see the running back anymore. That's a bad sign.
So on 3rd down and 7, 4 wide receivers out on the field for the Hyenas. King in the gun, going deep over the middle into traffic and hauled in by DR Sim all the way up at the 28-yard line in triple coverage.
Well, when you're desperate, throw it to the Hall of Famer. And look at this grab by Sim. Post route. Oh, no. It's just, that was just a great play by Sim. Funk went for the SWAT, but he should have been playing the man, and got him a little bit in trouble there. So here comes Houston. Look at the Leafs gate 3.
King under center with 2 backs in the backfield. Murray takes a handoff, steps over the first defender, and gets up to the 22-yard line. A nice gain of 7. Murray averaging 5.4 yards per carry on the day.
Very, very productive day for Murray. And if you're Houston, that's what you want to do. You know, a low-scoring game. Don't turn the ball over. Let your back lead you.
Murray gets it again, but this time wrapped right up and brought down. Robert Brower in the backfield for a big tackle for a loss. 3rd down and 7.
So that's a very large man.
6'6", 280-pound defensive end, Matt.
All he's got to do is get his paw up. Good for swatting down balls. But last time Houston had a TFL, they got a first down on another their next 3rd down. So let's see if they can do the same here.
King in the gun, making a change to the play. Out route down to the bottom, hitting Sim, but Sim can't turn upfield. Momentum carries himself out of bounds. And the battle for which kicker is the best will continue as Max Espresso back out onto the field for Houston.
And that ball, he had to turn around for it, did Sim, and it cost him. But still, 3 points is like 7 in this game, Mike, since we haven't had a touchdown yet.
37-yarder from the left hash. Kick is on its way, and Houston reclaims the lead again by 3.
Going back and forth, both games on the SFL, Mike.
Lone Star looks like they got a field goal, Matt. They've got a 1-point lead over Sioux Falls.
Better have both your monitors on or split screen or something. 2 great games going on right now.
Houston kicking this one away, dropping down at the 12. And a nice return all the way up to the 38-yard line. We've seen some good returns by Benjamin Warner all game so far. Average starting field positions actually right about the 30-yard line, this time from the 38. Quarterback Matt South coming back out onto the field. He's only thrown the ball 14 times so far, Matt.
Trying to keep
Ezekiel
the
Love with
turnovers
12 carries.
trying to keep the turnovers down. Unfortunately, they've been screens that haven't been done well to Love. And oh boy,
Love met right at the line and tackled on the play. Kai Cash with the tackle at the line.
just can't seem to break free. This Houston defense has been smothering as far as the run game has been concerned. And South, you got to be wary. I mean, he's going to have to throw eventually, and he's got to be safe for this ball.
South will throw out route up to the top.
Oh,
And
nice.
by Ralger Law, but not before a Portland first down. But Matt, defensive rookie of the year possibility. 7 interceptions on the season for Ralger Law. Is tied for second in the SFL. He's got a forced fumble. One of 36 players to force a fumble this season. It would be the third Hyena to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Everett Garrison and Brody Gulch both also got that honor. And, yeah, definitely a possibility if he keeps playing the way that he's been playing so far. Also tied with fellow defensive back A.J. Barnes, who has 7 picks on the season as well. So to your point, Matt, if Matt South has to start throwing the ball, a dangerous secondary. Both of these teams actually feature pretty dangerous secondaries. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one continues to play out. Delayed handoff. And then a flag on the play. So it would be about a 3rd down and 7, maybe a 3rd down and 8. But instead, it's a holding on John Trusman, the fullback. So that will set up a 2nd down and 14, I believe.
2nd down and 14. Portland can't go to that. I don't want to see that same screen they've been running to Love. It just hasn't worked. It's not what they need. They just, like I say, pick up half. Try to get 6 or 7, and then go from there.
Out route down to the bottom.
Oh.
That one's incomplete, and it was actually 2nd and 19, the 10-yard holding penalty. So now it'll be a 3rd down and 19 as Valentine's momentum carried him out of bounds and I guess couldn't get a foot down inbounds. I thought maybe he was inbounds, Matt, so we'll see a challenge on the play. But even if this one is overturned, it would still be a 3rd and 14, but it's obviously better than 3rd and 19.
You're looking at, a 20% conversion chance versus, 2% conversion chance. So let's check the foot. Thought he had... Yeah, he looked into me.
Yeah. It looks to me like he had definitely had both feet in. So let's see if Mel Davis does indeed win his challenge. Devon Simeon not too pleased about that. He wanted that out of bounds. He wanted that 3rd and 19, but it's instead going to be about a 3rd and 14. We'll see if Matt South can convert this one.
3rd and 12, Mike. So now your chance goes up, or I think, say 5%, 25% chance to see if Portland can dial up a play deep enough.
Ralger Law licking his chops. So is A.J. Barnes trying to get a pick here. South going deep over the middle, but that is caught and tackled just short of the line to gain. Gene Valentine with the catch, 4th and inches. I'd keep the offense on the field, Matt. They're at the Houston 41-yard line.
Unless they want to run that trap, then I don't. Man, he couldn't extend the ball. He had to didn't want to fumble. Man, I don't know. This is tough.
Yeah, the offense is out there, Matt.
Don't waste it. You don't want to waste a timeout here either, though. Oh boy.
Well, they should just snap the ball, and they do.
They do.
Love gets the first down. Oh. Rumbling forward to the 39-yard line, brought down by Brody Gulch.
Despite my not liking that play call, they run it anyways, and they get the first down. So
it worked.
Gutsy play.
First down and 10 now from the Houston 39. South checks it down to
Oh,
Love.
gosh.
Love has to readjust, and the entire Hyena squad just swarming around a big tackle for a loss.
Now, Mike, that's a pack of hyenas.
Pack of hyenas. That's the words I was looking for, but I couldn't find them. So that's why I have you here, is to help me think of what I was trying to talk about. Deep drop.
Oh,
Pump,
no,
and
South.
Zach Turner with the sack back at the 46-yard line.
The Hyena defense coming to the rescue here, and here we have another long third down.
3 quarters in the books. 1 remains. Houston out in front, 9-6 over the Portland Fleet. We'll see what happens here in quarter number 4 on the other side of the break. You're watching the Simulation Football League on For the Fan.
Houston's secondary had a monster game against the Louisiana Revolution. Quickly looking, it can't avoid the outstretched hands of A.J. Barnes, Mike. Oof. Then Ethan Kai with one of the most exciting plays in football. A pick six. Cuts off the en route and takes it to the house. Finally, A.J. Barnes ends it spectacularly with another interception. Whoop.
Oh, one-handed.
One-handed, Mike. Looking like a receiver. That's what Portland's got to be careful of as they go, this final fourth quarter. Look at that. Wow. I mean, that was my receiver. I'd be patting him on the back and buying him some extra beers or whatever he likes. Tequila.
Taquitos down in Mexico City. 7 picks on the season for Law. 7 picks on the season for Barnes. Throw over the middle. Speaking of one-handed catches, a catch and a fumble recovered by the Hyenas.
Did he have possession? Nick Adams.
Oh, I think he got both feet down, Matt. I think that's Houston football. I know it's quick, but I see a catch 2 feet down, and then he gets popped. Ball comes loose. Portland's going to challenge. So this is challenge number 2 for head coach Mel Davis. Won the first challenge, but we'll see what he sees on this one, Matt. What do you think? I think it's a fumble.
Let's see. Hard reaches up 1, 2. Yeah, I mean, it's usually 2 1/3 foot. It's close. If Mel Davis loses this challenge, he has no more and loses a timeout.
Alex Perez with the fumble recovery, and it was indeed a fumble and recovered by the Houston Hyenas.
Oh, boy.
That'll put an end to Portland's drive. And, you know, Matt, you just highlighted the secondary, and it's that defensive backfield that was able to make the play. I couldn't quite see who got the shot on him, but a hard hit popping that ball free. And a great job by the Houston defense recovering it and setting them up with great starting field position at their own 38-yard line. Warren Murray takes the handoff and runs forward for a gain of 5 for the 18th time tonight. 2nd down and 5.
2nd and 5 again. If I'm Houston, I'm riding the Murray train. You know, to see if he gets you 2 or 3 more, and then if it's 3rd and short, aside from there. But don't test the Portland secondary. It hasn't worked out too well for A.T. King today.
Yeah, Portland secondary has had a great season as well. And right now, it's the defensive line for Portland that's able to make the big play, sacking E.T. King back right where this drive began at the 38-yard line. 3rd down and 10 coming up. Robert Brower with another sack in the backfield.
Well, Houston's been the king of, losing yards on 2nd down and getting first on 3rd down. So see if they manage to convert this one, or will Portland make a big play?
3rd down and 10. Pressure coming, breaking through, and just kind of throwing it deep. And that one almost was picked off. Probably should have been taken away. Chris Stash had his hands on it, and it fell down to the turf. 4th down.
Boy, if King had converted that one, that's I hit Stash right. You see Stash whack?
Yeah.
He just took out number 84, making sure that there was going to be no catch on the deflection there. But so Houston can't move the ball off a turnover, and Portland gets another shot.
4th down and 10, and no harm, no foul on that fumble. It is 3 and out for Houston. Punt returned up to the 27-yard line, and we've got an update from Sioux Falls. What do you have for us, Cam?
Thanks, Mike. Mike, back and forth action from South Dakota.
Yeah, Cam, LSG coming out hot in the second half. You see Ace Fennick changing the play right here, and going to hand off to Ike McBride up the middle for a 20-yard run, and Lone Star goes up in the second half.
We'll see if Sioux Falls can respond. Back to Mike, Matt, and Gerald in Houston.
Thank you, Cam. Ezekiel Love running for a nice 1st down on the first play of the drive for Portland. Off tackle to the right. Good yardage.
That might be his longest run of the game, Mike. There's the blocking that Love's been looking for.
Ezekiel Love now 47 yards on 18 carries. 11 yards there. That was indeed his longest of the day. 4 wide receivers on the field for Portland. Matt South, deep drop, heaving it deep down the sideline and in and out of the hands of his receiver. Benjamin Warner, the intended target.
Warner,
one
why?
Is incomplete.
Oh, wow. Houston dodged a bullet there.
2nd down and 10. Warner, 3 catches, 33 yards on the day. That would have been the longest by far. Had beat the defender. Would have headed right into the end zone for a touchdown and the lead. But instead, 2nd down and 10, a run of 1 up the middle, sets up a 3rd down and 9. The Simulation Football League broadcast team looking to add new talent to the ranks of broadcasters. Applications are being accepted now to try out for play-by-play or analyst positions. Don't need any prior experience, just a love for the game of football, a desire to succeed in the booth, and you can find the application on our website, simulationfl.net/broadcasting. South going over the middle and has his man off to the races to the 10, 5 into the end zone, touchdown Fleet.
Valentine just running a go route and go post combination. Gets behind the Houston defense and see you later. Will you be my Valentine, Mike?
I kind of wondered if his knee was maybe down just a yard shy of the goal line. Interested to see if Damon Simeon challenges this, but doesn't look like he is. So I guess he was indeed in the end zone. A great play by the Fleet. Matt, they went from 12.1 points per game last season to 21.1 points per game this season, a 9-point increase. It's the best in the SFL from their inaugural season as a franchise to season number 2. 13 points in this one, but their first lead of the ball game. 8:28 to go in the fourth quarter. Now leading over the hometown Houston Hyenas by 4.
Yeah, this game just got flipped on its head in a hurry. I mean, no matter what Houston does, Portland will have a chance to, take over the game. But Houston needs to get back to the explosive passing game as they've kind of whimpered out a little bit their last 2 drives.
Return taken up to the 24-yard line. You can visit the all-new SFL League website at simulationfl.net for info on how to create a player to join our community, the league, and the teams that play in it. There's links to apparel, helmets, and a comprehensive history of the SFL and its over 1,400 games and its thousands of players who have hit the virtual field. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. And that touchdown, Gerald Smith, Huey Lewis's number 1 fan, that is, reminding us that was 50 touchdowns for Matt South, and E.T. King sacked on the first play of Houston's drive. Congratulations to Matt South on that milestone. Touchdown number 50. And Derwin Nuevo getting another sack in this one. That's sack number 2.
This time they played that press man defense, but managed to stay in coverage enough for King had nowhere to go, and eventually that line got through. And now 2nd and 18. Houston needs an impressive play here to make it a manageable 3rd.
Warren Murray wrapped up in the backfield and tackled for a loss of 1. It's going to be a 3rd and very long 19, Matt.
Yeah, but never say never, Mike. We saw the last play with Portland. They hit a deep one. So Houston's got to be dialing one up deep. And the Fleet defense should be playing back. They've got only 1 deep safety, Mike. That's a little bit dangerous.
King going deep down the right sideline, and that one is caught. Leroy Brown
Got him.
gets the catch and gets the first down on the 3rd and 19. Matt, I think when Portland had a 3rd and 19, what'd you say? There was about a 2% conversion chance?
Yeah.
E.T. King getting it done there, the wily old veteran, hitting Leroy Brown down the sideline. Chris Stash in coverage for the Fleet.
Well, I said Brown wouldn't be quiet all game, Mike, and that's the biggest catch of the game for Houston. Keeps their drive alive and keeps this drive, which they could take the lead going.
3 wide receivers for the Hyenas. King over the middle, hitting Brown again on back-to-back plays. 2nd down and 2. Sector 6 is the official apparel provider of the Simulation Football League. You can visit sector6apparel.com or our website, simulationfl.net, for replica team jerseys and completely customized jackets, flags, t-shirts, and more that help each team stand out from their opponents. You can get the gear that the fans wear with Sector 6 and the SFL. King out to the left. That one's caught by the tight end, Stephen Walker. We haven't seen him since he dropped what should have been a walk-in touchdown and gets that catch there. Good for a gain of a couple, sets up a 3rd down and 1.
Here we go, Mike. It's Murray versus this D-line. He's been successful most of the time, and 4-3 look. Looks good to run on if they want.
And they will. Murray, does he get there? He does. He was hit right before where he needed to go by Mel Davis, but falling feet first goes across the line and moves the chains. First down and 10.
Look at this clock, Mike. It could play a big factor here if Houston kicks a field goal. There's a lot of factors going around in my head right now. We'll have to see what happens as this drive continues.
King down the right sideline into double coverage, and that one is incomplete. DR Sim, the intended target. Sean Allen in on the coverage.
Looks like that ball kind of slipped out of his hands a little bit. I don't know. Looked a little short.
Sean Allen's breakout season, Matt. 8 picks. First in the SFL coming into this weekend. The franchise record set last season, of course, for Portland was 8 by Dakota Johnson. And Sean Allen already has 8 picks, looking for pick number 9 here tonight. As Warren Murray only able to gain 1 on the play, 3rd down and 9 outside of field goal range. So it could be 4-down territory here for the Hyenas.
Yeah, I would say this is the biggest 3rd down of the game. Down 4. Houston's been good at converting, Mike, though. We've got to say that on these long 3rd downs.
King looking deep down the left sideline, and that one's picked off. Jumping in front of it and taking it away, Derek Majors with his 2nd pick on the season.
They went post corner and underthrown ball by King, unfortunately for Houston.
It's actually, correction, it was pick number 4 for Majors on the season. Not to be totally outdone by Bob Funk and Sean Allen. Allen with the 8, as we mentioned. Bob Funk has 6 on the season. Majors and Stash both had 3 apiece, and Stash with a pick, Majors with a pick. The Portland secondary continuing to get it done, and this Houston defensive line getting it done there. Tackle for a loss on Ezekiel Love back at the 18-yard line.
That run's done more harm than good, Mike. It's another loss of that similar play, and now this Houston defense is going to pin its ears back. You got South in the gun, and this look has not been fruitful. Watch the dump to the halfback. It hasn't worked.
South in the gun, letting the clock roll. Checks it down behind the line of scrimmage. Blockers out in front that time, set up well, but still only able to gain 5 yards on the play, Matt, but it's still a 3rd down and 8.
It worked that time against short side of the field. Not a fan, but at least Portland's in a situation now where it's, you got a, decent chance at converting this, but watch out for this Houston secondary, Mike. They could get a pick 6 here, and this game could be turned on its head once again.
4 wide receivers in the formation for Portland. Matt South steps up, pressure in his face, throws it, tipped, and picked off, going the other way to the 30, the 20, inside the 10, and all the way down to the 5-yard line, picked off by A.J. Barnes.
Like, I thought I almost called a pick 6.
Pretty close.
Oh, boy. Barnes.
1st and goal from the 5, Matt.
A.J. Barnes is streaking down the field, knows what to do with the ball. I mean, boy, at the 5-yard line, Houston is in the driver's seat. Are they going to give it to Murray, or are they going to chuck it in the end zone? I'd at least give it to Murray once.
These two teams, Matt, number 1 in the league each in taking away the football. 25 turnovers forced in 7 games. Warren Murray up the middle for a gain of 1. 2nd down and goal now from the 4. Man, I think that was probably one of the more impressive stats that we saw when we were preparing for this game, just how many takeaways these defenses have been able to get. Murray taking the handoff, met right at the line. Once again, 3rd down and goal now from the 4. Matt, they're down by 4. They need that touchdown.
They got to throw. Murray's got to be pretty tired. Portland's played the run well, and I guess we'll see, Mike. Do they dump it
Offset
to
I
the bottom?
formation. King under center. Murray takes the handoff, and he's wrapped up and tackled behind the line. 4th and goal. 2.5 minutes to go in the ball game. Trailing by 4. What do you do?
I think you go for it, Mike. You got your 3 timeouts. Field goal puts you. It's such a tough. I mean,
I'd go for it. Yeah, and I think you had it right. I'd go for it. See if you can get it in the end zone. If you can't, at least Portland is set up at the 5. You have the 2-minute warning if they can throw this quick enough. It's going to hit the 2 first. King towards the end zone, and it's in the end zone. Touchdown, Hyenas. Fenimore with the catch and the score.
Oof. Yep, good call by the Hyenas. Yeah. Portland with that. Again, everyone's pressing, Mike. And they ran all slants, and you got a linebacker against a receiver, and that's a big mismatch.
Yeah, Mel Davis, as we highlighted earlier, Matt, Mel Davis was, he actually leads this defense in pass deflections, but that's kind of hard to, count on him to cover a guy like Kyle Fenimore. Fenimore had 2 catches, 42 yards last week, and in this game he has 3 catches for only 29 yards. But hey, one of them was for that touchdown right there that gave Houston the go-ahead score. Now up 16-13 in this ball game.
Now it's up to Matt South in this offense, who's has hit one big pass, but otherwise hasn't really shown the ability to move the ball too well through the air. But it's going to be all on him.
Kick taken back at the 11-yard line and brought up to the 32-yard line, and that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. An exciting finish in this one coming up on the other side of the break. You're watching the Simulation Football League on For the Fans. And welcome back to Houston. 1 minute, 57 seconds to go in this one. Portland trailing by 3. Matt South firing deep over the middle.
Oh, no!
And that one's picked off. Intercepted once again by A.J. Barnes.
Well, he had a big game last week, Mike. He's having a big game in crunch time this week.
And Portland needed that drive, Matt. And and taken away.
Receiver looked open, tip deflection, and now that timeout's looming big, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Only 2 timeouts after losing a challenge earlier on. And Houston's offense back out onto the field, 2 backs in the backfield. And I expect to see a heavy dose of Warren Murray here. Murray taking the handoff and rumbling forward for a gain of 3. Let's go back to SFL Studios for a game break.
Thanks, Mike. Huge play, 1 yard away from scoring for Lone Star.
Yeah, Cam, right when Lone Star we're looking to go up 2 scores. Brett Markowski with a big interception in the end zone to keep Sioux Falls in the game.
But 4 minutes later, Lone Star is back in the Sioux Falls red zone. Back to Houston.
Thank you, Cam. Warren Murray getting that one up to the 37-yard line on the swing route. It'll be a 3rd down and 2. Portland burning their final timeout of the ball game. So, Matt, it comes down to this. If the Portland defense can get the stop, they'll have another shot at it. If Houston gets a 1st down, it is game over.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Murray hasn't had a lot of success on the goal line running in, but from this 4-3 look, he's had pretty good success. See what happens.
King
What the?
has time down the right sideline and throws that one out of bounds. Incomplete. Will be a 4th down and 2. The defense does what it needs to do. And the Fleet will get another shot at this. Coming up on the SFL post-game update, we'll first send you to bonus coverage of the Lone Star Sioux Falls game, and then Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green will break down the Portland-Houston game. We'll preview SFL action that's coming up tonight on For the Fans and the SFL Twitch page. It's all coming up on the SFL post-game update. And the ball is going to drop down and be down at the, well, they say the 9-yard line. Is that where it hit the first player?
Yeah, it touched the first player at the 9. So Houston or Portland, Mike, it looks like Portland still has 1 timeout left. I think that last play, the Houston, I think Murray got out of bounds. So that 1 timeout could loom large if Portland can kind of go 91 yards. No, they don't. They just need a field goal, Mike. So it's significantly less. Oh. South gets murdered there.
Technical difficulties with Mike Dagg's system. We'll get him back in a moment. I'm with Matt Wilson, and here at the SFL Studios, it's 2nd and 10 for Portland at the 9-yard line. And South going to drop from his own end zone and complete that to the outside of the 13-yard line. 3rd and 5 coming up.
Well, it's a decent play. They get out of bounds, but you're going to need a lot more yards than that, Cam, in order to get into field goal range.
This has been a nip and tuck game. Houston giving the opportunity back to Portland to maybe get a game-time field goal or a game-winning touchdown. The Fleet, who have lost a couple of close games here recently, would hate to lose another 1-possession game here on the road. 3rd down and 5. South all day to throw. Pocket collapsing. Watch out, and it's 4th down. How did he not see the pressure coming up from his blind side?
Oh, man. You got to have someone to dump it down to even in this situation. And Portland are not in any hurry for some reason to get to the line. They're kind of putting themselves in a tough spot here.
Yeah, agreed, Matt. Thanks for covering for me momentarily. 4th down and 10 now for Portland. Matt South out route down to the bottom. That's not going to be enough yards. And Houston will take over on downs at the Portland 14-yard line.
So not enough, not long enough.
So 1st down and 10 now for Houston. And they're just going to be content to kneel this one away. You know, only with the one timeout left, it's not going to be enough to stop the clock. Final timeout now burned by Portland with 48 seconds to go. So 2 more kneel downs, and that will be it here in Houston. Matt, let's go over your final thoughts in this ballgame.
Well, Houston was just more opportunistic, Mike, with the interceptions at the end of the game. Portland had chances. Their defense played pretty well, but they just couldn't make the one big play they needed, and those interceptions just torpedoed them at the end.
They're down in 13 now as the clock continues to roll. One more kneel down is all it will take. Houston will move on to 5-3 on the season. Portland is going to fall to 2-6 after another loss. Matt, you mentioned in your opener that in the last 2 weeks, Portland lost by 6, both of those games. This time only by 3, so they've been in many of these games and just unable to get out in front and get the win. Had the lead for a short time in this game, but not enough to get it done. So final score in this one, Houston Hyenas 16, Portland Fleet 13, as we head to the post-game stats and highlights. And Matt, what stands out to you the most here?
I mean, 3 turnovers apiece, but for Portland, they came at the worst time right at the end.
Next up for Houston, next week they'll be on the road heading to Fort Worth to take on the Toros. Portland will be on the road once again. They head down to Raleigh, North Carolina to take on the Carolina Skyhawks. And after the post-game highlights come to a close, we will send it over to Sioux Falls for some bonus coverage in that one. With Houston getting the win, Matt, quarterback E.T. King, 24 of 36, over 200 yards, a touchdown, a couple of picks. D.R. Sim, 4 receptions, 72 yards. And Warren Murray with over 100 yards on the ground. Who's your vote for player of the game in this one?
That's a tough one. I mean, Murray was pretty good. I think I'd go with him.
Warren Murray, 109 yards on the ground, and he didn't get a lot through the air. He had 5 receptions, but only added on a handful of yards. But getting enough to get the victory in this one. Now, it was a low-scoring game throughout the entire first half, Matt, and didn't see our first touchdown until the 16th drive of the game, and that was Portland with a 4-play, 73-yard touchdown, and then Houston would get the ball back, and they threw a pick. But after a pick of their own, taking the ball away from Matt South, 4-play, 5-yard touchdown pass that you just saw just there. And then Portland, they couldn't help themselves out on that final drive, getting that one picked away once again by the defense, allowing Houston to get the victory. And we'll see who the player of the game is for this one. A.J. Barnes, the free safety, with his 2 interception, 6 tackle performance. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League on For the Fans. For Matt Wilson, Gerald Smith, our commissioner and producer Cameron Irvine, I am Mike Daggs. Final score, Houston 16, Portland 13. We'll now send it over to Sioux Falls for the conclusion of the Lone Star Sioux Falls game. Chris Curtis, Wade Phillips, take it away.
It out, but hey, they snapped it, caught him off guard, got the first down, exactly what they needed. A beautiful play call.
Under center and keep the offense on the field. Chance for Fennick to the outside. That's going to be to the left, and giving chase to McBride is half of the Sioux Falls defense. Stop made, and after a 2-yard loss. We welcome those of you that were on For the Fans watching the Houston Hyenas come out with a win over Portland 16-13. We've come to another back and forth game in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Chris Curtis, Wade Phillips along with you for the ride. Dave Horrell and Cameron Irvine in the truck making us look better than we are. But it's been a very good game. Sioux Falls momentarily had the lead. We've seen 3 lead changes in this game. A pick 6 is what gave Sioux Falls the lead, and then immediately Lone Star took it right back. And that's where we sit at the moment, 27-19, with about 2 and change left in this fourth quarter. Looking to throw to the outside. That is going to be McBride again. She's had a very good day so far, albeit not all for rushing yardage, but receiving has been very good. This time it gets a couple, gets it to 3rd and 11. Lone Star 3rd and long have not had great success in those 3rd and longs today, and a chance for Sioux Falls to potentially get the ball back if a stop can be made with just over 2 minutes left.
That's right, and it's really been just miserable on 3rd down so far.
And 2-minute warning on tap for the Sioux Falls Sparrows. Only 2 minutes left in the comeback attempt as you continue to watch. It's the Simulation Football League on For the Fans. Crowd getting loud in South Dakota, trying to will their team to a stop. Offset I formation for Lone Star. McBride is the deep back. Looks to throw over the top. Caught. First down and more. Down to the 15 to the 10. All the way down to the 4-yard line. Exactly what Lone Star needed to kill this time. Greg Soto has had a major impact in this game, and it continues here.
Comes up clutch, and that was exactly what they needed to get that first down. They kind of reversed the trends that they had been dealing with all game and get that big first down on the 3rd and long, and now they are knocking on the doorstep and can put this game away.
Yeah, Lone Star very, very quickly knocking on this door and very, very loudly knocking on the door to putting this game away. Soto lines up at the top of your screen, trying to find something to work with on offense. Lone Star has not had a great day in red zone offense. This will be through the middle. McBride trying to fight her way forward. Not going to happen. Down to the 1 she goes. Sioux Falls calls another timeout, and they're down 2nd and goal.
And now, to me, that Lone Star has to run it because they've had too many red zone turnovers, and Ike McBride has just been phenomenal all day, and they just have to keep running it, run this clock out, and just march away with the victory.
2nd and goal at the 1. 3 in the backfield. Fennec is under center. Handoff through the middle. That's a touchdown. Lone Star gets what they needed and more points on the board. It's Collier with the touchdown, and Lone Star likely has put this game away.
And they switched it up, gave it to Cameron Collier, and took it in for the touchdown instead of the ever-present Ike McBride. She didn't get it, but Cameron took it in for a touchdown, and that's exactly what they needed. Now they are completely established in the driver's seat, and really all Sioux Falls can do is hope and pray that they get a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and then get an onside kick that they recover. Everything has to go right for Sioux Falls now.
Yeah, and at this point, Sioux Falls looking down the barrel of a 2-6 record through 8 games. This is up, and it is through. Lone Star on the other side, though, as long as everything holds, will move back to 4-4. And get themselves right in the middle of the pack in the playoff conversation, which is exactly what they needed to do at this point in the season. For those of you that were looking for the over-under of 45.5, well, congratulations. You win if you went the over. So there's that. And as we get ready to go for this possible last drive, still only 1 timeout left for Sioux Falls. See if and when they're able to use that. This will get down to about the 10-yard line for A.J. Levy. Levy moves it right. And the longtime SFL veteran gets taken down at the 31-yard line, and not much further than that. Minute 45 to go in the football game as Sioux Falls trying to make a comeback of this. But it's been interesting, to say the least, so far in this game. A game that was in question for a majority of it, as Sioux Falls just really did not let Lone Star pull away until this point.
That's right. That's right. It's been back and forth all day, and really, it's been a great game for both teams.
3 to the left, 1 to the right, over the middle. That one is tipped and incomplete. That'll hit the turf harmlessly. Another opportunity for Lone Star's defense to shell out. Martin Jr. makes the stop. It's 2nd and 10.
That's exactly what they needed, just to get that, incompletion. And now Sioux Falls, unfortunately, time and just everything going against them, slipping away. They really just have to have a miracle happen.
2nd and 10. The Sioux Falls 31-yard line. Looks to throw. Tyree over the middle. That one is going to be caught. 1st and 10 out to the 41-yard line. They'll start to run some no huddle. Tyree again. Deep over the middle. That one is tipped and incomplete. 2nd and 10 as it'll stop the clock. Week 9 begins next Saturday on Next Level Sports. DC is going to visit London in a critical North Division clash before we head to the South Division for a rematch between Mexico City and Lone Star. In other league action, Denver visits Atlanta and Baltimore travels to Queen City. Coverage starts at 5:30 Eastern. The SFL on Next Level Sports. Football season is only just beginning. Sioux Falls trying to get something going on offense. Keep this game in doubt if they can. Over the middle, that one is incomplete. Missed a couple of targets there. Gunnar Lewis, your intended receiver on that play, and it's 3rd and long.
That was a very dangerous throw that could have ended up in a turnover that would have sealed this game, but they lived to fight on, and now they're just trying to scrap away and get a touchdown.
3rd and 10. Still a minute 24 left in this game. Over the middle, that one's going to be caught. 4th and 3 after a 7-yard gainer. Not much more than that, and Sioux Falls will call their last time out.
And now, really, I would say their season hinges on this 4th and 3 if they go for it, which I'm assuming they will. But now it really, I mean, they're at the point where their backs are against the wall and they've got to get a win. So really, this is no more important play than this one right here.
4th and 3. 3 to the top, 1 to the bottom of your screen. Sioux Falls needs it. Looking to throw. Over the middle of the field. Tipped and incomplete. That'll hit the turf harmlessly. Tyree can't make it happen. Turnover on downs, and Lone Star is going to take over the football here. Reminder as well, we are not done this evening. Week 8 wraps up. If you guys are on For the Fans, amazing. If you're on For the Fans Twitch, stay right there. We've got Jack Brown and Ryan Caudill coming up at 9 Eastern time. Denver and San Diego going to be bringing more football to you tonight. And then on the Simulation Football League Twitch, we've got Arizona and Louisiana. Tyler Falk and Mark Lopez going to be giving that to you at about 9:20 or shortly thereafter. So definitely still more football to finish out Week 8. 2 more games on tap before we head into an all-important Week 9 in what is becoming a very tight playoff picture.
Right, and it's looking like some excellent games on the schedule for tonight still, and don't want to miss that. And really, this game has been just a pretty phenomenal game until kind of recently, where Sioux Falls has kind of just not really been able to do anything, but it's been really back and forth all day.
2nd and 12 at midfield. Victory formation here for Lone Stars. They will put this ball to the turf and will end this football game. But what a win for Lone Star to come in on the road at Sioux Falls, which is typically a very hard place to come in and win at. And they do the job required of them to keep themselves in the conversation for playoff positioning. And that it's about as big a win as you can get at this point in the season. For Sioux Falls, I mean, this isn't quite mathematically a death sentence to their playoff hopes. However, it is close, and they're on life support at this point.
That's right, and they need a lot of help from a lot of different teams, just, results going in their favor, but going to be tough.
Absolutely. Final score, 34-19 Lone Star over Sioux Falls as we end this game up in a very good piece of work for the Sioux Falls Sparrows, or for the Lone Star Glory, as they come up with a nice road win. Your final thoughts real quick before we move on.
Just that I thought both running backs were just fantastic today. The offensive lines did pretty well, opening up the running lanes and, keeping the quarterbacks upright, but just phenomenal day for both running backs. And the defense for Lone Star really came into their own in the second half.
Fair enough. Yeah, nice game all around. Sioux Falls really made an effort, especially in that second quarter. They turned it around, did a complete 180. They forced Lone Star into some unfavorable spots, Wade, and really we saw some vulnerabilities and some cracks in the Glory armor that they quickly fixed and adjusted for the second half.
They did. They came in the second half with the game plan and stuck to it, and it paid off. And they got the win by 15 points. And overall, the score doesn't indicate how close the game really was.
As we look at this game, do you have somebody that you're earmarking for player of the game?
I'm gonna have to say Ike McBride. She was everywhere. She was catching the ball. I don't think she dropped a pass. She had over 100 yards running. She just was phenomenal.
I'm thinking Deuce Fennick. We'll see exactly how that is here in a second. But it is Ike McBride. Good call. 2 touchdowns on the day, 78 receiving yards to go with 97 on the ground. And that is Ike McBride's day. Good work for her on this Sunday evening. That said, the Sioux Falls Sparrows fall to the Lone Star glory in a tight 15-point showdown. We will send you to a commercial break and then back to SFL HQ for a post-game update. Thank you from Sioux Falls. We'll see you in just a little while.
Welcome to the SFL post-game update with Mike St. Green. I'm Cameron Irvine. Boy, a couple of more thrilling games here. Down the wire, down the stretch. Lone Star able to pull away from Sioux Falls. Let's start there first. Boy, the Southern Division has really separated themselves this week. All 4 teams now 500 or better.
Yeah, Cam, this was a big, huge win for Lone Star to keep pace in that South Division. Mexico City already had won earlier. Houston just got a victory over Portland, and it was very important for Lone Star to get back to 500 and keep pace in this division.
And how about next week? The two national TV games, 6-2 Mexico City versus 4-4 Lone Star, and 5-3 Fort Worth against 5-3 Houston. It's all coming down to the wire.
Yeah, that division definitely going to have 2 great matchups next weekend. It's going to determine what the rest of that playoff race looks like coming down the stretch.
And if it continues, Mike, winning the division could be the difference between getting into the playoffs and not getting into the playoffs if things get jumbled up in a 7-5 mess.
Yeah, as you know, Cam, this season, the division winner gets the automatic playoff bid. And, yeah, if it gets mixed up in there where these guys kind of beat up each other, somebody, may miss out on the playoff opportunity.
You have to feel for Portland. 2-6 now. They were 2-10 last season, but they have lost close game after close game over the last month. to teams that are now well over 500. Your thoughts just on the Fleet just almost being there?
Yeah, like I said, 2 wins last season, 2 wins this season, but this season's Portland team is much, much improved over last season's Portland team. Matt South had a big touchdown pass to Gene Valentine to put them ahead in this game late in the fourth quarter. But then after Portland got the ball back, Matt South turned the ball over. A.J. Barnes with a big interception returned it inside the 10-yard line to basically help secure a win for Houston. So, yeah, Portland defense played great. Offense played when they needed to. But Houston, A.J. Barnes made a couple of big interceptions late in the game to give Houston the victory.
Action continues next on Twitch. Over on the FTF Twitch, you've got Denver and San Diego, and on the SFL's Twitch, you have Arizona and Louisiana coming up tonight. Until then, and until next weekend for our national television audience, that's Mike St. Green. I'm Cameron Irvine. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League, and from all of us at the SFL, we'll see you next weekend. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you over on Twitch.